So, good morning, everybody, or good afternoon. We don't even know anymore. From London, it's more the evening, and we are very happy to welcome Marc Pottier, who is in Rio de Janeiro. And we are going to talk about Jardim of America, that's in Sao Paulo. It's a sculpture park. You know, a lot of you have already met Marc Pottier, and we are very happy to have him again on the BNC Club. We are very happy as well to welcome some new participants from Culture Secrète and the members of Beaux-Arts magazine. And first of all, to thank Marc Pottier for his incredible work and this incredible collaboration that we have started a few months ago, and that is taking form now because we are opening like a sort of a Brazilian window on the both as a collaboration for webinars and articles that you can find now on the BNC report on our website. It's international curators, Marc Pottier, and also the webinars on the section podcast that you can be able to access anytime if you're a member. So Marc, as you know, is living. He's French. He's been living in between Paris and Rio de Janeiro. He's been living in Brazil for a long time now, and he was a curator. He was a cultural attaché for the French government and the French Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Rio de Janeiro and in Lisbon. And first of all, he was in New York. So he's been traveling a lot, and now he's curating the new version of the Curitiba Biennale that's going to take place in 2000, maybe it's 22. It was announced
now it's 22.
Yes, 22. So we are going to show first to present you, because it's a production now, all these webinars. And Marc was very patient enough to try to send someone in the Jardim of America in Sao Paulo to film to be able to film and present live images, but it seems it's raining in Sao Paulo, so the cameraman has gone home. But fortunately, we have a small video of the park that we're going to show you, and then Marc will make a comment with the presentation.
So maybe, Anne-Pierre, let me introduce before to see this little short film. Let me introduce a little bit what is the subject about.
Go ahead.
Good afternoon, good morning to everybody. Thank you so much for being with us and to travel with us in this location in São Paulo. As Anne-Pierre mentioned, unfortunately it's raining, so the cameraman cannot do it, but we have this little film that we are going to show now. As a curator, I've been specialized, if we can say that, with public art. And I like very much to invite artists to do site-specific works in different locations. And this project, Circular, Arci na Praça Adolfo Bloch, the art in Adolfo Bloch is the name of a place in São Paulo, is the first project I'm doing for a company whose name is Farah Service. Farah Service, since 1986, has been involved with public spaces in São Paulo and trying to bring culture at large into the public spaces of the city. So when we met, and I must say it's a very good experience I have, because you know, sometimes your clients are becoming friends, and this is the case. And Michel and his wife Luciana Farah became today good friends, and we have a very let's say, friendship way of working to invite artists to create works for the places we are involved with. So Adolfo Block, it's a place in São Paulo, extremely well located. It's in the center of the city. It's in a sort of cultural corridor near the Museum of the Images and Sound, and near another museum of sculpture, the MOOB, and it's very near very good galleries like Naha Rosler, Loom, Casa Triangulo, Zipper, and of course we work a lot with them. The museums are lending some works, some galleries are helping to produce the works of the artist, and we have been launching the first version of this place, Adolfo Block, in August of last year. It was an exhibition on the theme, because each time that we speak about group shows, each time I'm having a theme, and we do 3 exhibitions a year. This year has been a little bit different, as you can imagine, because of the pandemic that still goes on in Brazil. So the first exhibition last year was on the theme of tree. I'm mentioning it because you will see, because we kept some of the works from this first exhibition, and in this image of that you have on your screen, you see on the left part a sort of bench that I will comment later on. The second exhibition was on the theme of artists decide to play, because I liked, you know, this idea. It's a place we have a place for children, and I really wanted the children and the adults to play together into the places. And also you will see one of the artists, because we kept sometimes during the exhibition, we are keeping some of the works in a permanent way. We opened now at the beginning of this year the third exhibition, which is Sit, Read and Write, with the English traduction, which is not that good, which was a way for me to invite people to take the advantage of this place, to sit and to have the opportunity to read, but to read also, it's to have to meet with people doing lectures, and maybe to write, because of course we have organizing tables for people to be able to sit and to stay. And so we are working with the biennale of books. We have been inviting, because we do a lot of events during the weekends. On the last weekend, we have been organizing a very nice show. I must say, I was very happy with that, of the slam culture. As you may know, this is this sort of like a poetry from the suburb, which is now all over the world, and which is something extremely strong. So, you know, this is a place to live, exhibitions, events, and this exhibition you are going to see, now we are going to see the film, will last until the end of January of next year. And Pierre, you can show the...
All right, so I'm going to present now the video. For those who have joined a bit late in the webinar, we're going to present the video of the sculpture, the park of sculpture called the Jardim of America in Sao Paulo. And as the cameraman could not film because it's raining now in Sao Paulo, we're showing the short video and have the comment of Marc afterwards.
Actually, as you can see, the place is not that big, and the difficult aspect of the exhibition we are organizing is to try to have the works not be too close from each other. And but it's we are going to go back works by works after, so you will understand, you know, how we have been like putting together all these works, and how we keep like some works from the oldest versions of the project. What I wanted to say also that I didn't mention when I did the presentation is that I was mentioning Farah Service, with whom I'm working. This is the first place we have, but I've been mentioning they are working a lot with public spaces in São Paulo. So in 2021, we are going to show in 2 different other places. One is Vinicius de Moraes, which is a sort of big place. It's a park of almost 12,000 square meters, where I'm working with the School of Belas Artes. I don't know how to say it in English, but it's a School of Art. And we are working with students, because I didn't want to reproduce in each places we are going to make exhibitions the same spirit and the same spirit of group shows.
Marc, I'm stopping for a few minutes, because I'm not sure that we can both hear the sound of the video and you talking.
Sorry.
We don't really hear you. So I'm just going to finish the video, and then
okay.
And then we go. Yeah. Oh. Okay, so we're back to you. Apparently with the sound of the video, no one could hear, and they could hear you. So for me, it was the opposite. So sorry about that.
Okay, so I was just I'm going to put now the, let's say if I can. Do you see my image?
Not yet.
Do you see my screen?
No, I don't, but maybe.
Alors, partager. Let's see.
Here, we're getting to your screen now. We're on your screen.
Is it okay?
Yeah, now you need to make it the big image. To make it, yeah. Tu dois faire. Tu dois aller
I think I don't know how to put it bigger.
Gallery view, and yeah, it's a bit. I can share it if you want.
Do you see?
Oh. I can share it if you want, Marc. Is it okay?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
okay.
Perfect.
Okay. Here we are. And I will mute Muriel. Okay, here we are, view.
So I'm going to keep going on speaking before we have the images of what you just have seen. I was just mentioning that with Farah Service, we are already working on 2 different places. One, Vinicius de Moraes, and we are working with the School of Art of the city of São Paulo, which is going to be a nice way not to reproduce what we do in Adolfo Bloch, what we are going to see now, but to give opportunities to students. And just for you to understand that we already has been receiving 69 proposals. I've been doing a selections of 34, and I'm going to receive the students in a couple of weeks to see how to put it together and how to produce the works. And the opening will be at the beginning of February. And then we have another place, which the name is Civita, which is another beautiful places with a building where we can do a sort of art center. And this time I'm going to invite each time one artist only to react with the spaces of the building and of the garden. So it will be like a 3rd proposals with different artists and different way of working. Is it okay now, Anne-Pierre?
Yeah, it's okay. You can raise your hand when you want me to go to the next slide.
Attends, but I think I need to,
it?
because I don't see.
Maybe you need to put stop sharing with you.
Ah,
so
yeah.
You're with me.
Alors. Oops. Ah voilà, sorry. J'étais en train de arrêter. Tac. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so would you go, please go down, down. Voilà, this one. So we, no, go up. Voilà, Bruno Novaes, which. Well, here you have the list of the artists. Actually, we speak. I'm going to try to be quick because it's quite impossible to speak about 18 artists. It's going to be a little bit too long for you. But for you to understand the way we work, it's a selection of artists able to answer with the theme. In this 18 artists, of course, and this is the case with this huge bench that I already have been mentioning, which is a permanent work, which was from the first exhibition on the theme of tree that we have been opening last year. And sometimes, so, you know, you have works keeping on doing 1-2 exhibitions, and then that we are going to disinstall. And some of the works we have been presenting have been now put into other locations into the city of São Paulo. What is absolutely amazing to understand is, like in São Paulo, actually you have quite no public art. And we realize that in a city where we are like 18 million people, you only have like something like 200 or 300 works of art in the whole city. So part of what we do with Farah Service, apart from this exhibition, is like to adopt some of the artists and ask some people adopting these artists to offer to the city of São Paulo the works that we installed in different locations. So maybe we can go to the first artist, whose name is Bruno Novaes. Bruno Novaes, it was a very funny situation because he's an artist. Actually, he's a painter. He's very involved with watercolor. He's an artist from São Paulo, and actually, when I said, you know, I'm very happy to visit your studio, but I don't know what I can do with public art, and he said, I have an idea, and he came with this designo libre, and this free drawing. And of course, as you can imagine, it's a very easy and simple ideas, but very efficient, which is to put the blackboards into the garden and to invite people to write on it. And it's a sort of like a very simple, easy, educative and interactive works we have into the place. We can go to the next. And of course, you know, I suppose, I don't know yet where it will go, but this piece will go to another public space into São Paulo. Siroshu, as you can imagine today, if I may say, we have to work with people from the street art. And doing some researches, I bumped into Siroshu, who is a very nice artist and has a culture mixing with the culture of indigenous culture with the street art culture on many different aspect of the Brazilian culture, the everyday life. He loves the nature, and I invite him to redo the balance for the children. And he came to this sort of totem balance, very colorful work, which I think is very successful, and of course became a permanent work into the place. And also for him, it's the balance. It's a sort of way to speaking of the up and down of living. We can go to the next one. Claudia Jaguaribe, you may have seen her because she's a Brazilian artist based in São Paulo, but she has been working a little bit all over the world. She's very well known for the books she has been doing. The last one on China was very successful, and she's questioning what photography is about. And as you can see on this image, she's transforming the photography into sculpture. So the title of this piece is Azulinha. Azul is blue, and it's a game between the real name of I think in English you say hopscotch. I don't know how to pronounce it. Hopscotch.
Hopscotch.
And which is in Brazilian amarelinha, so you have the yellow color. So she has been playing with that and inviting you to this sort of no man's land where you don't know if you're playing with the sky or with the sea. And it's going to be one more work being permanent into the place. Next one. So you see people playing with it. So Delphine Araxi-Sanoyan, she is a French living between São Paulo and Paris. She's a designer. She's Franco-Armenian, and Araxi in Armenia means the river. And all her work is made, speaks about connections. She loves to speak about connection. And the title of the piece, Ava, actually the boyfriend is from Iranian family, and Ava in Persian means love. And all you understand that all her work is made of this connection and this sort of feeling, and we decided to have her creating this new brand of furnitures with a very specific Japanese way of the yakisugi. So I don't know if you know, but it's a traditional Japanese technique where you burn the wood on one side, and it helps to protect it from the weather, from the mold, from insect, and ironically from fires. And she has been creating this old collections, which is fantastic because of course it's inviting a lot of people to rest, to sit, and to read, and to stay into the places.
Yeah, she's been. We can see that she's been working with Philippe Stark also in luxury hotels. But I really like the group. It's beautiful.
Actually, we worked together. I met her because we worked together on the Matarazzo project that I've been mentioning during the first Zoom a couple of months ago, and we became friends. And so, speaking of that, it was quite easy for me to invite her and to know how serious she is to create this furniture.
Someone to follow.
Yeah, exactly.
Douglas White, of course, is very well known.
So you know this British artist, and I must say the piece it belongs to the Matarazzo collection. And when I did the first exhibition last year on the theme of tree, I asked Alexandre Allard if he could lend me this sculpture, which is part of his collection. And Douglas, made this for the Creative Invasion in 2014. And it was a very nice way, as you may know, because you know him, that he's very keen with Lavoisier. And he loves to say that nothing is lost, nothing is created, everything is transformed. And so from this discard tires that we found into the the streets in Brazil, in the roads in Brazil. He has been recreating these palm trees to retransform what has been left by the society of consumption we are involved with. So maybe the next one.
Recycling as well now.
Yeah. And I must say this piece works so well into the place that we are very happy to keep it. The works at Matarazzo are supposed to be open next year in 2021, and we are very happy to keep this piece. But we speak about palm trees. You have to imagine that the one on the left, it's like we speak about 4-5 meters high sculpture, so it's quite big.
Yes, because actually we see them in art fairs, but they are not as big. No.
Felipe Seixas, another artist from São Paulo, who is quite involved with softwares, amongst them the softwares Houdini for the game industry for special effects. And I must say, you're going to tell me why this piece in an exhibition whose title is Sit, Read, and actually, I must say it was more an invitation, because what you have imagined, what you can imagine that you have seen into the video, is like these little stones that you see on the floor are going into the video, going up, you know, like disappearing into the sky. So I'm totally aware that it has nothing to do with the theme, but you know, sometimes curators can play with their own exhibition. But I think it's a good invitation to sit and to meditate and to see this piece, which I think extremely strong in a public space. And I must say, now with the technology, it's working extremely well during the day and extremely well during the evening. So it's really a piece which is sort of like a 24 hours one video, working extremely well from the beginning of the year. Next one. So Flavio Brick is an artist from Rio de Janeiro, and he's coming from the design also. And he's an artist. If we come exactly. So the title of his work is Walking Posters. So basically, he has been creating these bags, questioning consumerism. He's a little bit a political artist, and very happy to put art into the street, to create works which opens to conversation and to create this sort of like words on bags. So we have been leaving these bags into the places. I must say, to my surprise, that from the beginning of the year, at the same time, we have more and more people, because in Brazil, like it happens in Europe, museums has been closed most of the time, and they are just reopening now. So we had almost nothing to see in terms of culture. Galleries, museums were closed, and to do a public art exhibition as we did was very good, because you know, people were so happy to get out from their place and to have like some art to see. And what I wanted to say is like, fortunately, until today, nobody has been stolen these bags, which I think it's a good sign. So next one.
Which is good.
So Graziella Pinto, she's an artist from São Paulo. She belongs to this generation of artists. She's a painter, she's from the performance. And when she has been inviting to the place, she really wanted to do a work. The title of the work is Bunch of Words. So you understand that it's she's creating this sort of fruit into the branch of the tree with words. And it's a way for her to speak about spirituality, the circle of life, the solar system also. And she has been writing words like you and I are one, do it with love, Mother Earth. So it's also a way of like trying to catch some words into the trees. Next one. So Hugo França is one of the very best Brazilian designer. He's from São Paulo. As you may imagine, is recycling the trees is considering. He's never destroying any trees, but he's like taking trees and reforming it into this sort of amazing furnitures. I think for those who know and for those who don't know, Inhotim, which is this amazing sculpture park we have in Brazil near Belo Horizonte, you have a lot of these benches to rest, and it's really amazing. Here, it was a tree which has been struck by lightning in the Parque Ibirapuera, which is the main park we have in São Paulo. And so he has been retransforming this damaged tree into this huge 9 meters long bench that is now a permanent work into the Adolfo Bloch place. And I think this is, well, as you can see, you have also children playing with it, and sometimes in the evening it's becoming a sort of bed for the homeless people. So I think it's a very useful work of art. The next one, I must say, it's part of the pleasure you have when you're a curator. And sometimes when you see exhibitions, you keep in mind an artist, and you feel one day I'm going to be able to work with this artist. And this was the case with this Mexican artist, Jorge Mendes Blake, that you may have seen at the Mexican exhibition at the Musée d'Art Moderne de la Ville de Paris some years ago. And I was totally fascinated by his walls. He's making huge walls, and each time you have or on the bottom part or on a vertical way, books, because he thinks that culture is part of our architecture. And so I called him. I must say it's a work we have been doing by video, because he was in Mexico. Mexico also with the pandemia, things are not so good, so he was not able to fly to São Paulo. So we have been like doing the installation thanks to WhatsApp and to video, and he has been creating this amazing work, starting by Herman Melville's book, Barthaby's Story, and where he speaks about, you know, the oppressed people, where the main person of the book is someone who is oppressed by society norms, and he wants to speak with this little books that we put at the bottom of the wall we have been building. You see how big it is. That life, that little details of life are enough to transform our entire universe. And I think this is a very poetical way of speaking about culture, books, and to make us think that we know we want to put off the book and to get into culture.
But, Marc, once the wall is built, the books totally disappear, or
no, you see
them, so it's the picture that's not really correct.
Yes, the picture is, but it's complicated to make a picture of this work. I think here on this you can read Bartleby, and he wants the book to be small, and you know, for people just to be able to read the book and to get out a little bit from the bricks. Okay. And I suppose you remember some of his walls where you have only one book and you have the tiles doing like a small vague.
Yeah, I saw that at the Centre Pompidou or the Museum of Modern. And for the record, also, he's a very important artist presented by OMR Gallery from Mexico, which is a very important gallery. So,
very good gallery.
So yes, and it's amazing, because we're arriving at half of your presentation, and I was about to think and to ask you a question about the project that we've seen, are very joyful, very colorful. You mix design, you mix you mix plastic art, and you mix also street art. But here with Jorge, you can see that it's also conceptual.
Yeah. You know, actually, I think public art is fantastic for that, because you have, you know, a large range of artists that you can mix with a sort of thing. You know, you understand that the theme, it's a pretext. It's just a pretext. You know, it's just it's a package to speak about art into the public spaces. And exactly what you say, and Pierre, it's like it's a nice way to invite so different artists, well-known artists, unknown artists, conceptual artists, people from the street art, the design, and public art is really perfect, because, you know, this sort of exhibition into a museum will make no sense.
Yeah, and participative art as well. It's the perfect place for for the public to really interact with the.
But when you speak about public art, it's like you go in front of the people. So public art is very good, you know, to kill shyness, and for people to realize that art is for everybody. It's not, you know, something reserved for elite, and that, you know, you have a direct access with that. And I think this sort of exhibition, and this is what Farah Service is asking me to do. It's like, it's really to organize exhibitions where people are going to be extremely comfortable. And actually, it's very funny, because I was mentioning the one we do with the School of Art. Of course, we speak about students. You know, most of them are 20, 21, and it's going to be very nice, because you have a very Brazilian spirit of interactive art, and they will put, you know, this sort of like, how do you say in English, the hamac?
Hammock, I say, no, don't we say? I don't know.
Hammock now.
Yeah.
Or you will understand, you know, this sort of things you can lie in outside, and you will have a lot of work inviting people to sit with a lot of tables, a lot of way, you know, for people to be together. And I'm very excited about this future exhibition. Well, here it's an artist from Belo Horizonte, so near the sculpture park I was mentioning. It's a beautiful work that my client has been buying, and it's a mix between this sort of like fake bookshelves made of concrete and jasmine. So it's a fake library where you can just read, of course, the title of the books, which are like the encyclopedia and medicinal books. And you have, what I like, it's really a work which is alive, because you have also all this jasmine, which is going to grow up and to eat the books. And of course, it's a way of speaking about, you know, how life, the cycling of life, and how a book is coming from a tree, and how nature can be part of our world. So it's a perfect way to speak about this new. So and Pierre, I think as you mentioned, I love to mix art. On this, I must say, most of the exhibition I'm curating today in Brazil, I love to introduce indigenous art. I think we have been spoken about this last time. And here I was so happy, because I met with Maria Fernanda Paes de Barros. She has a company which name is Yankatu, and she's working a lot with indigenous tribes, and especially from Xingu tribe. Xingu, we speak about Mato Grosso. So Mato Grosso, for you to, if you have a little bit map of Brazil in your head, you see Brasilia, which is in the center of Brazil. So it's in the west of Brasilia. So we are really into the center of Brazil. And you have these tribes doing these benches. So what you see on your left, and I think you have other image after. Yes, so you know, this popular art they are doing, absolutely amazing, are this, which is another subject we can speak during hours about this, because at the beginning it was like objects made for religious items. And of course, as we Occidental people love this sort of art, then the indigenous has been doing this sort of furnitures to be able to survive, and because there is a market. And so Maria Fernanda, so the name of the artist is Kuli Kirda Meinako, and he has, thank God, an artist name easier to pronounce, which is Steve. STIVE, and they have been working together, you know, Maria Fernanda and Steve. And the title of this piece is like, where do I want to leave my reflection? So you see in the middle of this work a sort of mirror, transparent mirror, and what you see now on this image on the right is the wood from which is made this bench. And what you don't see, because unfortunately the image is not so good, they have been burning a little bit at the end, because it's always a way of speaking about what is the world we are going to leave to our kids. And as you may know, unfortunately, yeah, you see a little bit more here. Unfortunately, as you know, in Brazil, we have this huge problem with Amazonia, and the fact that people are burning the forests to create culture. And this piece, on a very political way, is speaking about that and inviting you to sit from a place to another one, to wonder about what you want in your life. And I must say, we have been inviting you at the beginning, when we opened the exhibition, he was afraid because some people had the coronavirus in the tribe. So we have been able to invite him like a couple of weeks ago, because as I mentioned, we do a lot of events into the places, and he came with a lot of these benches, and they have been doing, Maria Fernanda and him, a sort of huge art installation with the benches, with mirrors, with how do you say, comment tu dis les bougies?
Candles.
Candles, thank you, with candles, and it was absolutely beautiful. It was a very good way to invite people, and it was packed of kids, because of course we have a very nice story. I cannot resist to tell you that a little girl every day goes to the place and go to this animal to speak to the here, and she has a sort of very strong relationship with the animal, and she goes every day to say hi. And I think it's, you know, also art, when you have this sort of story, I think it's really beautiful. Next one. We are going to stay a little bit with this Amazonian culture. Oscar Metsavat, he is a Brazilian artist from Rio de Janeiro. He's super famous because he's a fashion designer, but he is also, he has the brand Osklen. But for many years, and I've been working quite a lot with him for almost 10 years, he is also an artist, and very involved with the question of Amazonia. And this work we have been doing together, which was the first exhibition last year, but we kept it, was Manifesto Amazonico. So it's a way to speak about the miners destroying the forest and using the richness you can find, and especially gold. So you see this sort of like gold circle is to speak about, you know, the way, the more you put off the gold from the mines, the more you are strangling. I think someone is arriving.
Someone is painting on the presentation.
Yeah. No, I last time I saw this sort of things arriving, it was like a sort of hacker arriving. No? No,
it's not. No. It was Delphine's iPad. Don't worry. It's not a hacker.
Okay, good. No, because it happens when I had something. So and you have seen the. I suppose that Anne-Pierre, you will put this book into your website after, and you see the Curator code. You can have access directly to the video he's making to speak about this subject of Amazonia. Very interesting. You should see it. The next one is Renata Adler, an artist from Rio de Janeiro. And this is a series that she's naming Chameleons. And of course, she speaks about, you know, the power of transformation, the constant change of life. And we speak about this sort of like wood painted sculpture. And when she has been inviting to participate to this exhibition, to sit, to read, she has been creating this sort of little mirrors with a lot of words important for her, going from transmutation, absolute idealization. So it's a nice way, I must say, it attracts a lot of the kids also going into the place. Renata Barros, another artist from São Paulo, and she made two pieces. The first one that you see is namoradeira. Namoradeira, it's meaning in English dating, and the other one is brincadeira. It's meaning just kidding. And she has been putting a piece. The image you see on the bottom right are two chairs into the tree, into the part for children. So of course the children, and I don't know if you see, after we shall see some other images, you have like two little feet on the, it's going to be another one. This is the one from dating, and of course it is sort of like impossible dating that she has been putting very on the top of the tree. And the other one, the children can go up, and it's absolutely packed all day long. The children, you know, they really want to get into this sort of amazing thrones into the tree, and it was a very nice way of inviting the children to sit, and the adults to dream about the way they could date into the tree. Thank God until today it doesn't happen, because I'm afraid it could fall down.
It was easy to wrap all of these on the trees. It was not difficult to have permission for that. No, it's not like
no. Actually, as soon as you don't damage the tree, there is no problem. But Farah Service is working from 1986 with public art, so you know they know how to do it. They have the good team, and so in terms of production and respect, it's something which works very well.
Mm. Is it a very important budget for them, this exhibition? I mean, this production, because it's.
So I don't know if they participate to this Zoom. They will say it's a huge budget, but I'm saying to them that it's a ridiculous budget, because I must say we don't speak about a lot of money, and I must say the galleries are helping. We have, like, for example, an association whose name is Curator, from Camilla Younes, a very dynamic young girl in São Paulo, who has been helping a lot the artists. We got the artists themselves, because some artists, you know, they are so happy to participate that when we say, you know, we have this budget, we can go further, they accept. So it's really a sort of a family exhibitions to create, but we were very far from budget one can imagine to do it in a museum.
When you look at the whole project.
Yeah. So Rodrigo Bueno is an artist living in São Paulo, very involved with nature, very involved with relationship with nature and indigenous. And here it's a beautiful table he has been doing with these grids, and it's a way to say, you know, this protection to put you apart, which you could eventually find into a prison, is transforming them into furnitures, and having this sort of like amazing choral nature mixing with this new furniture. It's a piece which is working extremely well into the place. Rodrigo Sassi, another artist from São Paulo, very nice artist, who is working a lot with a dialogue with architecture and urbanism, and he's working a lot with these sort of elements of wood that you can find even into the street, and he's doing this sort of like useful sculpture, because this is a bench, and I must say that I even had like some business meeting into this bench when we are working on the exhibition, and it's a nice way to create a useful sculpture into the place.
Useful because it's a bench.
It's a bench.
Yeah, but it really looks like it's both.
And actually we are working. We are going to have the launching of a collection of benches for the Ciclovia, you know, a huge place we have that Farah Service has. We speak about like 41 kilometers for people doing bikes, and we are putting works of art into different locations, and he's going to put like really other brand of the benches he's creating. It's going to be fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Suzanne Shirato, the name of the piece is Kabugia, which means lead cable. She is totally involved with diving. And this amazing piece that you see just a part, it's a 125 meters long piece that she has been sewing. And it's really the story of a dive. And when you read, so there is no space between the words, but she's inviting you to dive into the story, and you go from the beginning to the end of this 125 meters long work, reading, how the way, it's something because she's diving with her husband all over the world, and this is one they made in Mexico, actually. And you are with them, from when they go into the cave, when they go into the water, when and you have this lead cable, which is really, the link with the life, because, if you don't have it, you can be lost. And so this is a real, I must confess, I was a little bit afraid when we have been inviting her, because I thought that the piece may be a little bit tough, and to put this sort of black long piece into a park, I was not sure, but I must say the result, because you don't see very well into the image, but it goes like a snake, and it goes very well. And I must say also a lot of people are really taking time to read her text. It's a very beautiful and poetical work. As the last one we are going to see now, Verena Smith, a very nice artist from São Paulo, conceptual artist, very involved with the language and playing with words. And she's putting this sort of little text into the benches of the park. And it's part of letters sent by women to their lovers from the 18th and the 19th century. For example, you have Claremont to Lord Byron, you have the Empress Alexandra to Tsar Nicholas II, and you have this sort of little extract of these love letters. And it's also a way for her to say that human behavior didn't change very much from the 18th and the 19th century, and I think this is also going to stay as a permanent work into the place. So now I'm just going to wish that you could fly to Brazil to see the work, and if you come next week when the pandemic will be killed, you could see this place, you could see the Vinicius de Moraes with the students, and you could see the Civita with Rodrigo Sassi, the one with the bench that we have been mentioning. And so he's going to be the one having, so you see also what we do in these places. You have yoga lessons on Saturdays. So it's very alive and very nice places to welcome people.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much, Marc. I was just, if anyone of you has a question and wants to raise your hand, please do. And in the meantime, I wanted to just comment on the fact you said that the program is 4 exhibitions a year usually, and now during the pandemic you did this one has been on, but 4, it seems like a big program, no?
Yeah. Because, actually, this is why we're inviting people during the weekends. As I was mentioning that, for example, the Steve and Maria Fernanda have been doing this huge presentation of the benches of the tribe. We have the slam. We are inviting artists to speak about their work. So, we are trying to create, and what I didn't mention, you have this sort of food truck. We have music. So it's a very alive place. For people to realize that it's a place a living place where you can see art, and it's not something complicated and only for privileged people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it would be great that this exhibition should move around the world as well, no? Because I think what you do as a curator is to incorporate contemporary tribal art. So that's a very interesting point of view.
But I'm very happy of you finding a way to invite us to London.
If if we can manage to arrive to the Frieze Park sculpture, that would be fabulous. To have some big benches and something really so joyful as all these artists. And you say that some of the sculptures and some of the installations, they stay in a permanent way and the others don't. Is there some kind of commission that decides who is going to stay, or is it bought by the collection?
It's really the Farah service. I was mentioning Michel and Luciana, and Michel, of course, is a collector. And for example, you know, the bookshelves with the jasmine from Dupin, you know, like the piece of this, of course, he couldn't resist to buy the piece by the Indigenous and Maria Fernanda, you know, this sort of amazing piece. And but he's a very generous person. So meaning that these pieces he's buying are going into donations for public spaces into the city. The bench of Hugo Fransart is the first piece he bought to be as a permanent work into the place.
And also to work with local artists. That's also the idea of the program. No.
But you were mentioning that about the budget, as we don't have, you know, a huge budget. So for example, what is sure, I don't have a budget to invite people from abroad. Douglas White, it's because the work were into a collection in São Paulo. Jorge, we have been really lucky that he has been accepting to participate and to do the installation of his work by video. But most of the artists, you know, some of the artists, for example, the artist from the bag, Flavio Brick, unfortunately, even living in Rio de Janeiro, haven't been able to come because we didn't have really the budget to invite him. So, you know, and I've been, it was bags, so I have been carrying the works to São Paulo. So, you know, it's like it's done. It doesn't appear, but it's done with a limited budget. I really wish that in the near future, because now we have like one more year of experience, that we can bring sponsors. But as you can imagine, with the pandemic, with the coronavirus, everything has been stopped. And as a lot of museums are in a bad shape, in bad situation, you know, this is not that easy to have sponsors participating to this sort of event. On I must say, Michel Farah and Luciana, they are quite generous because you know they don't want to stop the project. They want to keep going on, but everybody has to make efforts.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I think it's some of this presentation should go to Château Lacoste, for example.
I would love one day to have the budget of Château Lacoste.
Now that so they can travel and we can discover them.
Speaking about Château Lacoste, I don't know if you know, but the next pavilion which is going to open is made from the architecture of Oscar Niemeyer.
Yes. Oh, fantastic. Oh, in Château Lacoste, you mean?
Yeah, in Château Lacoste.
Yeah. Okay, so well, thank you so much. It was a great presentation and travel in another country with all these materials, and we didn't speak of the materials because when we see the wood, for example, of these benches by Delphine Araxi, you see the quality of the wood is very different because of these fantastic trees you have in Brazil and in South America. So we will. We're inviting you if you want to. We're sharing the recording of the webinar is going to be on the website. The articles of Marc are going to be on the website, and regular webinars are going to be programmed with him and with different artists that he's been suggest, like some of them are Rodrigo Braga, but also Ulla van Brandenburg, who's been showing at the Palais de Tokyo, and Marc is a curator and a writer. And we have started this collaboration of showing different artists a bit worldwide. And Bill Fontana from San Francisco. Exactly. That's going to be on the 14th of December. I think we chose the date this morning. So we're inviting you to connect to follow this future discovery. Thank
Bill
you
Fontana,
again so much.
great artist. Thank you so much, and thank you, Anne-Pierre, because I'm very happy to have this window, Brazilian window, on the BNC Club. It's a privilege, and I hope it will give ideas to many of you to travel to Brazil.
Absolutely. Thank you. Have a great evening.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.